Vince MacDonald, from the class of 1956, was a three-sport athlete at Natick High School as a member of the football team, the indoor and outdoor track teams. In football, Vince MacDonald was a member of the varsity team that went 7-1 with one tie his junior year. Unfortunately, his football career was cut short his senior year when he broke his collarbone in the season home opener and was sidelined for the rest of the season. That team went on to finish the season undefeated at 9-0 and was crowned Bay State League champion. In indoor track his senior year, the 1955-56 team had a tremendous season led in part by Vince MacDonald. Natick, a Class C track team, was a newcomer to the Met League and came in third behind Class B powers Watertown and Arlington. Vince MacDonald, nicknamed the Flying Virginian, stole the show by going undefeated in Met League competition. Natick won the Class C title at the Boston Garden, thanks in part to Vince MacDonald running the 1,000-yard in a record 2:21.1. He went on to run in the Nationals, placing fourth behind three prep school runners, thus laying the claim of top schoolboy runner in the East. At the Bowdoin Interscholastic, Vince MacDonald turned in a time of 2:02.1 to win the event by a full 5 seconds and help the team to a third-place finish. In outdoor track his senior year, while serving as captain, Vince MacDonald broke the Bay State League record in the half and the mile, as well as the state Class C record at White Stadium with a time of 1:59.8, becoming the first Natick High School track athlete to break the 2-minute barrier in the 880-yard event. At the state meet, he was a member of the mile relay team that set a new record for the event with a time of 3:36.2. At the University of Massachusetts relays, Vince MacDonald was a member of a team that almost broke the distance medley record. When his high school track career was finished, Vince MacDonald was a 15-time track medalist and was undefeated in Bay State League dual meets, both indoor and outdoor, his junior and senior years, was named to the Massachusetts All-Star High School Relay Team, and was the recipient of the Alfred E. Hoey Award as the most valuable track and field athlete. As a student, Vince MacDonald was elected class president his senior year. He was also elected to the National Honor Society, was a member of the Safety Patrol, Student Council, the Executive Board, Student Guidance Committee, and was voted most versatile in his class. 2016 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1956, Vince MacDonald.
Good evening. I need to begin by thanking the Executive Board, committee members, and business sponsors of this wonderful event. Special thanks to my nominator, Butch Mandino, and Tara McDonald, my cousin, who put together the program narratives. I came into Natick High, to say the least, as an unconventional person of the 1950s. If not for Chick Welch, with all due respect to Lenny, the legendary Natick Herald sports writer who somehow heard of my running success in Virginia, Superintendent Woodbury, and our principal Al Maffio, I would not have received an entry waiver based on Wayland's lack of a track team. And the fact my dad worked at the quartermaster probably helped me as well. Then there's the matter of not being the traditional townie, although I did marry into the Honorado family of Natick small business people. Some here may recall Joe and Tony's barbershop on Pond Street, who gave free haircuts to the hospitalized and disabled. And my future in-laws worked as a plasterer and a seamstress at the Natick Mills. And my brother-in-law owns the Metro West Vacuum on the Golden Mile in Natick, and you'll get 20% off if you go there tomorrow. And that costs you a dinner. Being a Southerner, I arrived as a member of the Presley generation. Elvis recorded over 850 songs, 2 of which, Memories and Heartbreak Hotel, will frame my remarks tonight. Memories become part of our happiness, and many made this honor possible following my entry into Natick. I arrived with an established running reputation, a Southern accent, Elvis ducktails, and peg pants, and I immediately found myself suspect. The guys didn't believe who I was, and I was strangely attractive to the girls, which I sadly failed to realize until long after I changed that personal appearance. While Natick High of the 50s was behind the times in dress and rock and roll, it was not in more important matters, for I discovered that academic performance was taken as serious as athletics. This included not only how you looked, but how you acted. And since I was now surrounded by smart football and track scholar athletes who were being taught and coached by a no-nonsense faculty and coaching staff, many of whom went on to prestigious schools when we graduated: Brown, Colgate, Harvard, Bowdoin, and West Point, to name just a few. Now, we know there's a great difference between interactions and activities related to high school and college, but being grown up is not as fun as growing up, and that was a joy for me at Natick High. It was here I learned the only way to grow was to challenge oneself on the field and in the classroom. Sports inspired us to reach our full potential, but exposed us to values that last a lifetime. Fortunately for me, several of those values learned at Natick remain locked in my memory, and I'd like to share just a few with you tonight. Natural talent. While athleticism is largely an inherited talent, mine came from my father, but like intellectual development, one must work at it and be motivated by teachers and coaches. That teaches us respect and the recognition that any talent requires the help of other people. Adversity. It is companion of competition. Running demands a mental attitude which I believe really exceeds the physical aspect of that sport. You have to be somewhat crazy to endure the agony and ecstasy of victory and defeat. And while some of us ran faster than others, there was no such thing as a fake runner. We also ran to the finish, regardless of who won. I've tasted both the thrill and disappointment in sports, with a fractured foot in track and a broken collarbone in football. But even that had a sense of humor, because when Joe Hogue came out to the field, he was disappointed I was hurt, ran off and immediately got another player. But Coach Fulbert, my track coach, came out and said, "What broke?" And I said, "My collarbone." And he said, "Well, that's good." He says, "You'll be fine for spring." Teamwork. Coaches say the difference between winners and losers is that winners play as a team. And this was particularly true for track. For Coach Fulbert, competitiveness was a gateway to motivation, and teamwork would bring improved performance for each of us. Without that competitive drive among my teammates, Bobby Mossman, Alan Butchman, Ed Paul, Wayne Bartley, Dave Moore, we would not have been able to confidently push our bodies and minds to their limits. That teamwork, enhanced by coaching second to none, brought us individual success and state championships. Integrity. For me, it meant the completeness of giving one's full measure of effort, and then you just let the results speak for themselves. And it wasn't always about winning, but constant improvement. Whether on the field or in your classroom, we had to do the work, as well as accept the constructive criticism of the coaches and teachers that went with it. And that's what built our character. Coaching. Mental toughness, discipline, and respect for competition is a gift, and it does not come naturally. It is nurtured by great coaching, committed equally to individual as well as team success. Risk is good. Conflict is part of our life, and young people's participation in sports teaches them how to react. Fulbert and Hogue encouraged us to push the envelope on the field to take advantage of those very harsh training days. The stress of that competition allowed us to do things in more productive ways. For Fulbert, it was less about beating others and taking your performance times to the next level. Kick in the pants. Well, perhaps in an era of indulged children, trophies for everyone, and well-meaning but overprotective parents, it's bold for me to even talk about this without showing my emotional and physical scars. I just don't have any. For me, a kick in the pants was a form of wisdom in action, a bit of earnest but well-intended coach's anger and embarrassment aimed at me was a small price to pay to learn what competition and conflict were really about, both of which became factors in managing my later 30-year military career. Honor. No athletic accomplishment is complete without honor. It confirms all the work you put into your success. And the great thing about sports is that honor is a reward for what you give to others. You succeed by giving your best. Giving less for yourself and teammates guarantees failure. And then there is no honor. Sports. We all know sports is a metaphor for winning and losing. No one honored tonight has not experienced that. But we learned that separated we can do nothing, and together we can do much. Not only for ourselves, but the others, whether on or off the field. So the pursuit of sports in any form allows one to discover strengths that serves him or her well the rest of their lives. Now, by now you may have noticed that the first letter of these 8 values that I learned spells Natick High School. I am proud to belong to a long line of successful past and present athletes. Those honored tonight, previously, and yet to be recognized. And I should point out the future of the town of Champions, in my view, is in good hands. You have Grace Connolly, your Bay State cross-country champion, your 1-mile champion at the State Invitational, and you have your relay team, 4x200, 400, and 1600 champions. And of course, the girls basketball team. Now in closing, a memorable phase is that after all is said and done, it's not about the races won, but the athletes, coaches, and teachers who share in that success, and the student friendships will endure long after you graduate. I believe the remarkable experience and values gained at Natick have framed all of my choices in life, but the most significant and long-lasting has to do with that other Elvis song, Heartbreak Hotel. My heartbreak was in both my junior and senior years. The love of my life, Rosanna Rado, a cheerleader and senior class best dress, went to the prom with our class president, Donnie Maycomer, twice while I was running at the New Englands. But I caught her, now married 56 years with a daughter, son, and 4 grandchildren. And now to be recognized at the town we still call home, it's a memory we'll cherish forever. Thank you very much.